Yes, good question. This is not a question that we have addressed directly at the moment because this is a question that comes onto like fractions, decimals, and percentages. But even though we haven't been doing fractions, decimals, or percentages, in particular, these things do come up in the topics that we're looking at. Think about this. Think about percentages. That's an easy example. Which topics that we've been doing? Two topics. Yeah, interest. Interests are all percentages. Percentage rate, right? 4%, blah, blah, blah. You've got to convert that to a decimal. Okay? In the same way, even though fractions is not the explicit topic, we've seen a whole bunch of fractions, particularly in coordinate geometry. Okay, so this raises a question. Example, suppose you were finding an answer for something, okay? And when you punched it into your calculator, it all simplified out, and this is what you got. Okay? Now the question is, should I leave that as an improper fraction with the numerator bigger than the denominator, or should I convert it? Okay? So the first thing to say is, you should just read the question. Read the question. If the question says, give your answer as an improper fraction, then leave it. And if the question says, provide your answer as a mixed numeral, then convert it. And the calculator will still do that for you. Like, you know how to press the button to do that, right? Shift and then fraction, okay? But there's a second thing. Sometimes the question won't tell you, but if you're clever and thoughtful about it, you'll know which one's more helpful. You look at the context, okay? You think, what is this number for? What is it meant to do, okay? What am I going to use it for, okay? So for example, suppose these were some coordinates, okay? Suppose this was like, say, the x value and the y value was like 1, okay? So that's a point in space, okay? And then suppose for another part of the question, you get another, you know, suppose that was a midpoint, okay? And then you get some other point, you get this. This is, I thought of this example before, and you'll see why in a second, okay? Now, suppose these are what you've got. I can't plot these. I can't see what these look like. And the reason why is because when you have improper fractions, they're really hard to compare, right? Which one is bigger? I don't know. I don't know I know how to compare halves and thirds and quarters. They're easy. I deal with them all the time. But 18ths and 25ths, they're harder. Now, what do you think?
The top one.
You think the top one? Who else? Yeah, you agree? Okay. Now, it turns out you're right, okay? It is the top one. You can have a think about how the ratios work, but, mixed numerals make this super easy, okay? If you go to your calculator and you convert both of these to mixed numerals, it's actually very, very simple. Because you look at the top one, I worked this out before. It turns out to be 4 and 1/18. Okay?
Yeah.
You can check it out because 4 times 18, that'll give you 72, so it works out, okay? Whereas this fraction down the bottom is 3 and 8/25ths, okay? So now it's super obvious. Of course this is bigger than this. This is a 4 and something, and this is a 3 and something, okay? Now the question, maybe it was a coordinate geometry question, and then you have to plot these graphs, okay? Plot these points rather. The question didn't tell you should do one or the other, okay? But when you look at the context, and the fact that you need to compare these and compare them accurately and know where to place them. So now, on your axes, right, where would you put these things? Okay, well you got 0 here, y-axis, x-axis, right? If I plot some numbers, like say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, okay, where would this be? 4 and a little bit. It'll be somewhere like that, okay? Let's call this one A and call this one B. So there's A, and B is going to be, well, if that's 4, this would be 3. It'll be somewhere around here. That's B. So you can see them in relation to each other. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So 32.
It's quite right. Whereas this is quite close to 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. But the whole point is that, like, we are sort of going away from this, where we just kind of hand it to you and say, we want it this way or we want it that way. It's now sort of becoming a little more real world, where you can decide yourself, but one way is better than another, right? If you're thoughtful about what you're going to do with it.